In America, there are approximately 270 million firearms possessed by civilians and only 897,000 carried by police.
Buyers that purchase firearms through private sales in the U.S. don't have to pass a background check before obtaining possession of the weapon. This includes sales to criminals, felons, and people with a history of severe mental illness.
People don't realize this. They think the problem is bad guys with guns. There were 11,000 people who died of gun homicides last year. There were 20,000 people who committed suicide.
Right. Well,
the problem is not bad guys with guns. The problem is good guys with guns who use them on themselves.
I'd shift it to saying the problem is actually to do with mental health in this country.
No, it's not. The most of those people,
not to do with guns.
It's access to guns that's the problem.
In 2013, President Obama presented his comprehensive plan to prevent gun violence in the U.S.
It included improving background checks, banning assault weapons, and large-capacity magazines of ammunition, among other provisions.
The topic that was brought up by the president, high-capacity magazines. Where do you and your association stand on these kind of issues?
That I don't know of, and I can certainly let the sheriff speak for the Sheriff's Association, but I don't know of any position that the sheriffs or the police chiefs have taken that would take guns out of the hands of people who hunt, who use them for recreation, for sport. We're not trying to take guns away from anybody, but we're just trying to institute some common sense measures that would keep our community safer. And that is my interest. That is the interest of every police chief in this country, keeping the neighborhoods and communities that they serve safer.
Sheriff.
In the upcoming 2016 presidential campaign, the issue we most want to hear discussed is gun control.
Our right to peaceful assembly. That right was robbed from moviegoers in Aurora and Lafayette. Our unalienable right to life and liberty and the pursuit of happiness, those rights were stripped from college kids in Blacksburg and Santa Barbara and from high schoolers at Columbine and from first graders in Newtown. First graders. And from every family who never imagined that their loved one would be taken from our lives by a bullet from a gun.
And I do think that we don't have the right approach to it, and we do need to reach out to more responsible gun owners and, begin to try to say, look, we can do more to prevent as many deaths as possible. We're not going to prevent them all. That's not likely, but we sure can do a better job than we're doing now.
Every campaign that I have been in where the NRA and the gun folks have had a position, they voted and supported, opposed me. In fact, I have about a D- record from the NRA. Now, the issues that you're talking about is if somebody has a gun and it falls into the hands of a murderer and that murderer kills somebody with the gun, do you hold the gun manufacturer responsible? Not any more than you would hold a hammer company responsible if somebody beats somebody over the head with a hammer. That is not what a lawsuit should be about. And this is part, by the way, I may say, of, folks who do not like guns is fine. But we have millions of people who are gun owners in this country. 99.9% of those people obey the law. I want to see real serious debate and action on guns. But it is not going to take place if we simply have extreme positions on both sides.
The Second Amendment to our Constitution is clear. Now, this is in light of what's gone on with Oregon. Every time something happens, they blame. They don't blame mental illness, that our mental health care is out of whack, and all of the other problems. And by the way, it was a gun-free zone. I will tell you, if you had a couple of the teachers or somebody with guns in that room, you would have been a hell of a lot better off. You would have been a hell of a lot better off. The Second Amendment guarantees a fundamental right that belongs to all law-abiding Americans, right? I wrote this. The Constitution doesn't create that right. It ensures that the government can't take it away, right? Can't. They're doing all sorts of moves to try and take it away. Our founding fathers knew, and our Supreme Court has upheld, that the Second Amendment purpose is to guarantee our right to defend ourselves and our families. We need that. In fact, I have a license to carry in New York. Can you believe that? Nobody knows that.